Hey guys, how are you all doing? I'm excited to make this video today because I say this every week. I'm always excited to make videos on here. I guess I'm excited every week because it means I get to connect with you guys, and I honestly love this acne community. I have never felt like I kind of belong with a bunch of people so much before, and yeah, it just really makes me happy to make these videos and read your comments, reply to your comments, have a chat with you over on Instagram. Yeah, it just really is something that I love. So I'm so grateful for you guys for clicking on these videos. I hope that they give you value and that they help, and yeah, we can support each other in having our clear skin but also just living like happy, healthy lives. So this morning I put out a little Instagram post asking you guys for questions about Tretinoin, because I've now been using this for 9 months, which you might already know if you saw my 9-month Tretinoin update. If you didn't, I'll link that on screen now, so go and check that out after this video. But yeah, today I wanted to answer your questions because I feel like I do get quite a few of them, and I know I don't always get around to answering every single one, so I thought collectively let's combine them. If you are thinking about using Tretinoin or you're already using it, then hopefully this video will help you. Actually drinking water kefir or kefir, I don't know actually how you say it, which I've been brewing at home, and it's so good for like gut health and yeah, your skin, I guess. Check out my Instagram stories. I think I'm going to show everybody how I made this because it tastes really good, and honestly, if you are someone that doesn't want to have a lot of sugar like myself, it's a really good alternative to like a fizzy drink. Yeah, I love it. Okay, so let's get going with these questions. I've got a few general questions that I get asked quite a lot that I'm going to begin with, and then I will go to my Instagram account and have a little look at the questions that you asked this morning. So the first question that I get asked all of the time is, how long does the Tretinoin purge last for? And for me, this lasted probably, I want to say 6 to 8 weeks. The first few weeks that I started using it, I didn't notice anything different whatsoever. And that's probably because I was only using it once a week. I really built this up, as I'll go into in probably another question. But yeah, for me, the first few weeks were fine. And then probably by the sort of 3rd or 4th week, I started to notice that I was actually getting some quite deep breakouts across my jaw and my chin, I think. And I hadn't had these since before accutane. So honestly, I don't think I'd had a cyst for like, I want to say like 1.5 years, and so I was genuinely really worried. I wasn't sure if I was relapsing after accutane or if it was the Tretinoin. But I spoke to other people that were using Tretinoin on Instagram, and they all basically said the same thing, and that was hang in there, it will get better. And I'm really glad I listened to their advice because I stuck it out, and when I got to the 3-month mark, as expected, my skin dramatically cleared. I wasn't getting any new breakouts, and actually my skin texture was really improving. It was almost like when I just finished accutane. It was so smooth, and yeah, I was just super happy. So the second question that I get asked super regularly over on Instagram again is, what strength should you start on? Reason I think people are asking me is because I use 0.05% Tretinoin, but I didn't start on that. I started really slowly, and I started on 0.025%, which was something called Tretinoin gel, and it was mixed with clindamycin. I don't know if you guys remember, but that's yeah, that was my first update on Tretinoin, and I talked about that there, and I loved it. That stuff really works for me. And I would recommend starting on, yeah, a really low strength to begin with, and I think the lowest is 0.025%. And that way you can ease yourself into it. There's no point in going in with something really harsh, because all you're going to do is irritate your skin. Your skin's then going to basically turn really red, really peely. It's going to cause your skin to get aggravated, and you're way more likely to break out. Also, all that dry skin and inflammation is just going to clog pores. It's going to make your skin impossible to heal. Yeah, just don't advise it. Go easy, like slow and steady wins the race, guys. The next question that I'm getting all of the time is, where do you get Tretinoin from? And I think this is a question that's really hard for me to answer because obviously it really depends on where you live. Not everybody in the world has access to the same things. And for me, the way I was able to get Tretinoin was initially prescribed to me by my dermatologist, and that was the Tretinoin gel, like I explained. So yeah, that was mixed with an antibiotic, clindamycin, and I used that for sort of 4 or 5 months. I'm trying to think, yeah, about that. And yeah, that worked fine. But when I wanted to up my strength to just using Tretinoin, not with an antibiotic, and a high strength, 0.05%, I couldn't get that in the UK. Nowhere prescribes it anymore. No pharmacies carry it, so honestly you will not be able to find this in the UK. So therefore I went and actually found it at a pharmacy, and I was in Italy on holiday. I don't know if you guys remember this as well, but yeah, I managed to find it, and yeah, I basically stocked up, and that's what I'm still using. I bought that in September and it's now March, and I'm only on my second tube. So yeah, it really is something that you're gonna have to hunt around for. There are places online where you can buy this. If you guys leave me a comment and request this, then what I'll do is I will spend some time researching everywhere online that you can actually find Tretinoin, and yeah, I'll put that together for you. Let's just get on to the questions that you've asked. I think that's probably what you're really keen to find out. Okay, so there's quite a few, and lots of them are kind of repeating themselves, so yeah, I'll just roll with this. So the first question is from Caroline, and we've spoken over on Instagram before, so hey Caroline, thank you for sending me a question. And she's asked, how long after Tretinoin can you microneedle? So for me, and again, I'm not like a qualified dermatologist, but I can just share what I've done. With Tretinoin, I actually use this on alternating, is that right? Yeah, alternating nights. So one night I use it, one night I don't. So when I'm microneedling, I just make sure that I microneedle on a day when I'm not using Tretinoin. So I would use it the day before, stop for that day or that evening, and then I'd return to using it the day after. So yeah, I think it's really safe to use both at the same time. I've been doing that for, yeah, nearly a year now. And yeah, I haven't found any problems at all. If anything, it's just helped speed up my results. I find that my skin definitely doesn't scar half as much as it used to. The red marks fade a lot quicker, and I find that I'm not getting any indentations, which I'm so prone to getting. So yeah, definitely use them in combination. I think you're gonna find the best results when you do both. But yeah, I think it's probably too harsh to use the Tretinoin on the same night that you microneedle. So the next question is from Leanne. Hey Leanne, and she has asked, did you have a bad purge? So the answer to that really is, I don't think my purge was bad. Like, it's definitely nothing like what my skin used to look like. I'm sure you guys have seen all the photos of, yeah, my acne when it was at its worst. If you haven't, I'll put some up now. But yeah, it was nothing like that. But for me, I'd had really clear skin for a year. I've been off accutane for a year. I was really happy with my skin. The reasons that I started to use Tretinoin were not to clear up acne, but really it was to prevent breakouts in the future, and it was to really help with any textural issues I was still having after accutane, and also just to make sure that, because I was turning 30, I'm now 30, that I could prevent some signs of aging and just really take care of my skin. So yes, I wouldn't say my purge was bad, but for me at that point, it was the worst my skin had been since accutane. And yeah, other than a few weeks ago when my skin started to break out again, and I found out the root cause of all of that, other than that time, that was the worst my skin had been since accutane. So yeah, I wouldn't say it was awful, but it was definitely worse than my skin had been in a very long time. So the next question is from Jess. Hey Jess, I'm really enjoying that I'm recognizing everyone's names. I speak to all of you guys on Instagram, so this is great. And Jess has asked, how soon after Accutane can it be used, and will skin be as dry using it as on Accutane? Okay, so yes, basically your skin will be as dry as it was on Accutane if you don't look after it. So for me, I found that when I was on Accutane, the dry skin was bad for me, but I found that it was a much more kind of like burning, painful peeling when I was on Accutane. Really felt like, well, as you would expect, that it was coming internally outwards. Whereas Tretinoin is obviously something you put on topically. I haven't noticed the kind of red burning feeling. It's much more peeling in a sense that's very surface level. So yeah, when I do peel on Tretinoin, it's way more manageable in that sense. Like, I can just use a muslin cloth regularly just to take away the peely, flaky skin, but it's not sore and really red and kind of aggravated, which mine was whilst I was on Accutane. On Accutane, I definitely suffered with things like eczema on my face, really badly at one point actually. And yeah, I haven't had anything like that on Tretinoin. It's way more manageable. And my skin just isn't as sensitive. So on Accutane, again, because of the eczema situation too, I just found my skin was a lot more sensitive. I couldn't really use very many products. Everything had to be like completely like bare bones, like just moisturizer and SPF and really nothing else. Whereas now I still can use like a vitamin C and niacinamide serum and everything's fine. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. I would say different to Accutane in the sense that it's much more surface, but yes, you still will be dry and peely and you still need to look after your skin. So I've had the same question in many different forms, asking how to know when to move from 0.0 to 5%. up to 0.05%. And there's not really an exact science to it. I guess really for me, it was just knowing that my skin was tolerating that percentage very well. Like I stopped being dry, I wasn't very peely. Yeah, I could just feel like my skin was tolerating it a lot better. And at that point, that's when I moved up. And like I said in my last video, as I'm using 0.05% now, I feel like it's time for me to up that. So I am gonna see if I can try and purchase 0.1% when I'm out in Greece next week. So yeah, there's not really an exact science to it, like I said. You just have to kind of get the feel for it. Like you'll kind of just know your own skin and know if it's able to tolerate any more. But I really wouldn't rush into it. Honestly, if you have any doubt whether your skin could tolerate the next step up, I would probably just wait. You really will be able to tell. I've got a question from the lovely Rebecca. Hey Rebecca. She's asked, what kind of breakouts did you get during the initial breakout? Were they cystic or rather smaller pimples? Honestly, Rebecca, they were both. So I had definitely the cystic acne, which was what my biggest concern was. But I was noticing like smaller little pimples as well. They were sort of like go a lot quicker, but they were definitely there too. The ones that worried me, unfortunately, were cystic. Nothing crazy. They weren't like clustered together like they used to be. But yeah, they were deeper than just your surface pimple. So I got a few questions from Desiree, and she's asked, what is the perfect moisturizer for tretinoin treatment? And I have two perfect moisturizers, one for the day and one for the evening. Let me just get those for you now. So my perfect day moisturizer is this one by Avene. It is the Hydrance Optimal. I absolutely love it. It's in Rich and it's perfect. It's got SPF 20. I love this one because it gives the skin like a really healthy glow without looking oily. And yeah, I carry it in my bag as well. So if I do find that I'm dry or peely, particularly around my mouth and my nose during the day, I just apply another layer and yeah, it does the job. Love it. My evening moisturizer is by Evolve Beauty and it's this 360 Peptides Moisture. Love this. It does have a scent, which I know is not like ideal, but yeah, I've just found that this works so well for me because it's super, I mean like super rich, but it doesn't leave like a greasy film on the face. It almost turns to like a more of a like matte texture. So yeah, it works really well with the tretinoin. I find like the combination of the two, yeah, really work well together. Okay, so she's also asked another question which has come up quite a lot, and that is, how long did it take you to see results? I've been using it for 6 months, but no improvements. So for me to see improvement took 3 months, almost, I'm not going to say to the day, but pretty much to the week. Is really when I sort of started to see my skin change. But yeah, if you haven't been seeing any improvements within 6 months, I know that it can take people a lot longer. I would hang in there for a little while, but then also maybe have a look at other things that could be contributing to your acne. Potentially if there's like an underlying problem with either maybe your skincare routine, maybe that there's real kind of aggravators in other products that you're using, or potentially it could be like an intolerance to a food, or it could be that you're super stressed out. Obviously there's tons of things that could aggravate acne. I'm not a dermatologist and I don't know your exact situation, so it's hard to comment exactly on that for you, but in answer to your question, which lots of you have asked, it took 3 months for me to see results. And I'm not saying that it's completely linear and that like the minute it hit the 3 month mark, I never broke out again. That's absolutely not true. I still do suffer with breakouts, particularly around ovulation. But in terms of my skin texture, in terms of actually like the small kind of fine lines and things, and just generally seeing improvements and stopping that initial breakout, yeah, it took 3 months for me. I've just noticed the time on this video, so I'm gonna end the video here and I'm gonna thank you all so much for watching. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to put them in the comments. I'm always gonna check them. I'll always answer anything that I can do. And yeah, answer each other's questions as well if you're also using tretinoin, because yeah, as I said, this is a community. It's a place for us to share and help each other. So yeah, kind of out of breath now. But yeah, thank you so much for watching and I will see you in my next video. Have a lovely week, guys. Bye.